Hey everybody, it is Nathan and
Jess,
Selove with another edition of You Might
Be Autistic
I was going to say if, but it's okay, it worked. So, for those of you that are new to the channel or new to the series, You Might Be Autistic If is where we read You Might Be Autistic If statements that are submitted by our lovely audience. And the idea is that we're going to laugh at some of them, hopefully relate to some of them, and educate people about some of the common struggles and common ways that autism might affect people.
Or just marvel at some of maybe uncommon experiences people have.
Yeah, that's definitely happened as well. Also, one thing that you might notice is that we are wearing the same clothes that we were wearing in last week's video. And that is because I didn't actually make a video on the day that I uploaded this, because I am taking her to go get her second dose of the COVID vaccine. She is going to be inoculated by this time next week. Whoopee! And what that also means...
in anticipation of any symptoms I may have, which is a normal immune response, Nathan will be taking care of me. So he is going to put this video out so that he doesn't have to record one next week.
Yes. And don't forget,
if you get the chance to get the vaccine,
yes,
and you have no underlying medical reasons that it would be unsafe, you should check with your physician for those cases. Get it. Run.
We want to get rid of this pandemic, and the best way to do that is through vaccines. So please get it.
It's not clear like when that will be offered again. So if you're in your particular, profession or age range or like group of students, whatever, and you get offered it, it's a great thing to do. You can learn about the side effects, about potential reasons why it wouldn't be appropriate, and what's inside of it at the CDC.
Yeah.
They've done so much research. This is really well researched. There's a lot of good information out there that's verifiable and credible, and I encourage you to explore that and not obscene theories from people who don't understand how the immune system works.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that makes them stupid. It's very difficult to understand the full complexities of the immune systems. That's why it took almost a year to create a vaccine.
Yeah.
But I am saying that if you don't understand how the immune system works, seek out maybe a more approachable explanation so you understand why vaccines work. And I know that was really long, but Nathan and I feel very strongly about vaccines.
Yes.
And we always want to encourage information and truth and thoughtful, critical examination.
Yes, absolutely. Now to the fun stuff. Standard disclaimers. If we mispronounce anybody's name, please correct us in the comments and we will try to do better in the future. And also, just because you can relate to some of these doesn't mean you are autistic.
And just because you can't doesn't mean you aren't.
Yes. You met one autistic?
You met one autistic.
Boom. Let's get started.
And you're one autistic. You're one autistic, and I'm one autistic.
Yeah.
And that might be an autistic.
Yeah, she's pointing to Blake. That means that we know at least two.
I don't know if dogs can be autistic, or maybe all dogs are autistic. Comment below. I want to know people's thoughts.
All right, this next one is from Jude Murphy. You might be autistic if your brain won't let you stop a video before the end, even if you have heard that hilarious guitar solo too many times already. I mean, I appreciate it.
So this, to me, it's interesting. I get really annoyed with repetitive things, such as like the end credits on shows or the intro songs. Like if I've seen it many times, I don't need to see it again. It really bothers me. And I love how, most streaming services let you skip the intro or skip to the next episode. Nathan makes us sit through every intro.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying and it bothers me so much.
I like it. It pumps me up to watch the show. So if the intro is like really long,
we have to compromise.
Like when we watched Game of Thrones, we did a compromise where we were like, okay, we'll skip every other one.
1.5 minutes of intro is too long.
But come on, that imagery, that song, that really gets you pumped up to, watch some people
watch
stab
it on
each
your
other.
own time. Violet Kitty. For a second, I thought it was Violent Kitty, and I was thinking, how is that different from any other kitty? But it's Violet. Violet Kitty says, you might be an ADHD friend of an autistic if you both hyperfixate on the same thing for extended periods of time. That there are a lot of crossovers with ADHD and autism. there are a lot of people with opinions on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep into that, but I will just say...
I'm just going to say shout out to our brothers, sisters, and siblings in the ADHD...
And the neurodivergent
ADHD community. And everyone in the neurodivergent community.
Because a lot of the characteristics of autism, like that's why you'll often find autistic folks with a combination of diagnoses for things such as Tourette's, OCD, and ADHD. In that kind of combination, you do often wonder if the person is autistic and was just given these diagnoses of their behaviors that are because of their autism.
Yeah.
But
of course it depends on the situation. It depends on the specifics.
I will often see a post from somebody who's ADHD talking about some of their struggles, and I will really relate to that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Very cool.
This next one is from Kyle Lewis. You might be autistic if you lay down in a dark room and play your favorite song loudly on repeat with headphones just to intentionally cause sensory overload to drown out everything. I have done that. Yeah. I have done that.
Yeah, I know.
No, I used to when I was a. When I was a kid, whenever I would have or when I was a teenager, whenever I would have like a really bad breakup, I would do that with Gone Forever by 3 Days Grace. That was a lot more. That sounded a lot more depressing than I meant it to.
So much pain. And I mean, it must have happened so many times because you broke up so many times.
It was teenage angst.
Yeah, but it must have happened a lot because you broke up with so very many people.
Yeah. See, empathy. Take that, people that don't think autistics empathize. High five.
I didn't even have to look at your elbow. Yay. Anonymous. Oh, anonymous. I got it.
That's very clever. I like that.
That's fantastic. Good for you. Because I was like, oh, Nimbus. That's an interesting last name.
Anonymous. That's great.
I'm going to say anonymous. Because that's actually how I say when I see the word anonymous. I'm just like anonymous in my head. Anyway, anonymous says, you might be autistic if you love raspberries but rarely buy them because it's so difficult to find ones with a palatable texture. I could talk all day about fruit textures. Texture is always a big problem for me, but there's a reason I think why fruit should be bought in season, and there are like lots of good reasons for it, but one of the best reasons is so that the texture is good. I can't eat mushy fruit. Berries, if they're mushy, are terrible. Apples, if they're mushy, what do they call it? Mealy? Mully? No, mealy.
I don't know.
Mealy, they're terrible. Watermelon, if it's mushy, is terrible. I can't do it, and it's so upsetting. Yeah.
When she first read raspberries, for some reason, the first thing that popped in my mind was...
I know the reason. But they don't mean the same thing, huh?
I know, but like, I was thinking
One
like,
word for two different things.
I know.
Anonymous also says, you might be autistic if while employed at a bookstore you once blew off usual duties, spend the entire day rearranging a section of shelves because you could no longer stand how disorganized they'd become. What's up?
What's up? I think you have a few things to tell people.
If they're wrong and they look wrong, someone should fix them. It would only benefit the business because if they look better and more approachable, more people will buy it. And it's your employer being stupid if they don't recognize that. But you probably shouldn't tell them that.
I was about to say you should tell them that, but I was going to say it.
No.
I was going to say that as a joke, so I was going to put a very big, thing. Yeah, don't be honest with your employer. That's rule number one.
A lot of autistics will know, if you know, you know. Employers cannot be trusted with honesty all the time. You should be an integritous person. So, obviously you shouldn't steal or something like that from your work. And you should be honest to the best of your ability. But if it's about what you think about your employer or the practices of the business, you have to navigate that really carefully. And I generally recommend running it by someone that you trust who is good at getting their feelings heard in a professional space without getting fired. Because a lot of us have been at risk of being fired for saying what we thought.
Not naming any names, but there's a particular person in my mind who knows who he is.
So
We have another one from Autistic Kaylin. You might be autistic if you snap your fingers for one of your stems, and when people see you doing that, they think you're snapping at them to come over here, and then I'm like, I'm not snapping at you, I'm just snapping in general. I do randomly snap sometimes. I never thought of it as a stem for me, but it's just something that I don't know, I like doing it just because for a long time when I was a kid, I couldn't snap.
I loved the sound.
And when I finally learned how to snap, I was like, I just wanted to do it all the time.
Look what
because
I can do.
It's so cool, you know? It's so cool.
I can do it with both hands and you can't. Wait, you can?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can.
Did I teach you?
No.
Okay. Also, whistling. It took me so long to learn how to whistle.
That I still can't do.
Yeah, I've tried to teach you. You don't get it.
I've tried.
It took me so long to get how to whistle, and also blowing bubble gum, and that actually helped me learn how to whistle. But it was a thing that, like, I continually did until my mom got really annoyed at whistling and told me to stop. So I don't whistle as often anymore. Thanks, Mom.
Well, that is all of the ones that we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of you that submitted You Might Be Autistic If statements. If you have your own You Might Be Autistic If statements that you want to submit, then please do. In the meantime, that is today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my other stuff. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, support me on Patreon.